There's a few other ligaments that we need to look at here. In this first section for your first practical, we're looking at the lower extremity, but also the trunk, because in order to move our lower extremity, we have to incorporate the trunk. That means all of those supporting structures that help to maintain an erect spine and create the stability for all those vertebrae. Those are all important here. Mama! Hey, buddy. So we have our posterior sacroiliac ligaments, which should make sense because we're coming in from the sacrum to the ilium right there along the iliac crest. So that's the posterior sacroiliac. Now if you look here, we have L5, and you can see that disc right there splitting the lumbar vertebra and the sacrum. So this guy up here, he is not a sacral ligament, he's a lumbar ligament. So that's the iliolumbar ligament. You can see he's got a little branch. So now we're looking from the anterior side. You can also see a little bit inferior, we've got the sacroiliac ligament, but from the anterior view. So the anterior sacroiliac, the iliolumbar, inguinal. Now, for your later practical, you're going to have the anterior longitudinal and the posterior longitudinal in here, interspinous and supraspinous ligaments, but we're not covering those on this practical. For this practical, you only need to know iliolumbar, posterior sacroiliac, anterior sacroiliac. I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me. Sorry, it's very wobbly. The inguinal, okay. And then on this region on the back, it's about to fall. The sacrotuberous and sacrospinous. If you look at it from the inside of the pelvic bowl, sacrotuberous, sacrospinous, tuberous and spinous. Remember that corresponds to the ischial tuberosity, so sacro, from the sacrum to the tuberosity, sacrotuberous, and then from the sacrum to the ischial spine, sacrospinous. Those are the ligaments for this region that you need to know. We're going to look at the hip ones in just a minute. So no, there's no femur here. So I better not see anything iliofemoral, ischiofemoral, pubofemoral when you're looking at this model, because femur is half of the word for all three of those, which means you need a femur in order to name it iliofemoral, right? I told you that when you're looking at the names of these ligaments, a lot of times you're dealing with two different word parts and they're literally named by what they attach to. Okay?